Good morning and welcome to Korea Today, live from Seoul.
Talk the talk and walk the walk. Seoul urges Pyongyang to live up to its New Year's pledge to mend fences with the South following the North's decision not to hold inter-Korean family reunions in time for the Lunar New Year.
Invest in Korea and take all the benefits Korea has to offer, says President Park Geun-hye. Details coming up in the headlines.
And the latest steps to bring a little bit of Las Vegas to here in Korea. We'll have that story for you on In Print.
Year 2014 is filled with all the sports events you've been waiting for. From the Sochi Olympics to Asian Games here at home, we have the Thailand and details for you.
And the mercury levels may drop, but that's not hindering philanthropic activities of stars in entertainment. We bring you the latest on Korea's brightest stars and fans giving back. Beans are transformed into one of Korea's favorite products, dubu. Low calorie count, very little fat, and packed with protein. Matthew Chung has a dubu feast fit for kings on Friday, January 10th, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And thanks for tuning in. You're watching Korea Today on a Friday morning. Wow, it's cold today.
It sure is. It is. People in the capital are waking up to -8-degree temperatures, and the coldest part of Korea is hitting -13 right now as we speak, and that is in the city of Chuncheon in Gangwon-do province. So it is a cold one this morning. This the first actual cold wave, as well as the first actual cold wave warning that's been issued.
That's right. If you consider the wind chill factor, it's so cold you can't even think properly. And it's affecting, this cold spell is affecting some 200 million people across the world. And in New York, it saw the worst cold spell in 118 years. And some experts are saying it's colder than Mars. It's from outer space, this cold spell.
That's right. Very, very cold. Some huge waterfalls freezing over as well. We'll be talking about that later. And we have your weather update coming up with Lee Dami as well.
All right, but first, let's go to Na Hyun-kyung for a check of the day's headlines.
North Korea has, for now at least, turned down South Korea's offer to hold talks on organizing reunions for families separated since the Korean War. It took Pyongyang a few days to respond to Seoul's offer of dialogue after President Park Geun-hye on Monday called for the event to be held in time for the upcoming Lunar New Year holiday. In a statement, North Korea says in order for humanitarian exchanges to take place, the right atmosphere must be created. South Korean officials say Pyongyang is mindful of the joint military drills between Seoul and Washington, which take place every year between February and March.
It is regrettable that North Korea is linking annual military drills with humanitarian issues. South Korea maintains its stance that the issue of family reunions will be dealt with separately from the issues raised by the North.
North Korea did, however, leave the door open for dialogue, saying the reunions could take place at a better time. But Seoul has once again urged Pyongyang to show its sincerity in mending inter-Korean relations through its actions. The government is rolling up its sleeves to attract more foreign investment. President Park Geun-hye has assured foreign investors of her ambitions to turn Korea into one of the world's most investor-friendly markets.
한국은 미국, EU, 아세안 등 세계 주요 경제권과 FTA를 체결한 것은 물론이고 또 중국과의 FTA가 타결되면은 세계에서 가장 크게 성장할 시장으로 진출하기 위한 가장 가깝고도 안정적인 거점이 될 것입니다.
This was at a luncheon meeting Thursday with dozens of leading foreign investors at the presidential office, the second of its kind since her inauguration last year. As for the concerns raised by some foreign investors that the direction of Korea's government policies are difficult to predict, the president said she will start taking foreign investors' opinions into account when she makes decisions. In an effort to calm the controversy surrounding Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's shrine visit, his younger brother and senior Vice Foreign Minister Nobuo Kishi will leave for Washington on Monday. Japan's Kyodo News says Kishi will try to convey the Prime Minister's message that he did not intend to damage relations with Korea and China. The trip comes after the U.S. government, right after Abe's visit late last year, said it was disappointed to see Japan exacerbate regional tensions. Meanwhile, China's UN envoy Liu Jie says Abe was siding with convicted war criminals over the UN by visiting the Yasukuni Shrine, as the Japanese war dead honored there include 14 Class A war criminals. The Bank of Korea has left its key interest rate steady at 2.5% for the 8th straight month. BOK Governor Kim Jung-soo says the decision was made on the back of improving economic conditions both home and abroad. He adds the Korean economy will be able to attain its growth outlook of 3.8% this year and 4% next year if the government works on improving its structural productivity, citing eased regulations as one example. As for the weakening Japanese yen, Kim says policy intervention is unlikely as only certain industries such as automobiles and steel are taking a hit. The yen lost a fifth of its value against the won last year, eroding the price competitiveness of Korean exporters against their Japanese rivals.
And good morning, everyone. Time for a look through your newspaper headlines. We'll begin with the case of the controversial history textbooks and the unfolding aftermath of it. Gyeongyang Shinmun's front page story or headline reads, Education Ministry to establish editing body, direct involvement in textbook screening. And the subheadline notes that it was Minister of Education Seo Nam-soo who told reporters yesterday that his ministry would revive its editing body to screen not only history books, but also all new textbooks. He underlined that the system is necessary if the government is going to be responsible for the content that it passed on to the students to learn. And even though he emphasized that the said editing body would only serve as a means for his ministry to strengthen the way it examines the country's curricula, the paper says people in the opposition party and historical circles as well see this as a first step toward reverting to state-designated textbooks, as was the case during the country's authoritarian era. Currently, textbooks in Korea are examined by outside bodies such as the National History Compilation Committee for History Texts and the Korea Institute of Curriculum and Evaluation, for several others. Scooting over to the front page of 중앙일보 now, it continues its New Year's feature on a dignified Korea as its top. Let's go ahead and take a look at the side headline for a reoccurring front page story this morning. It reads, North Korea refuses inter-Korean family reunions for now. It's a story you already heard in the headlines, and Pyongyang's denial to the Lunar New Year reunions came in an arguably gentler tone this time, reasoning that the cold winter season, the short preparation time, and the upcoming Seoul-Washington military drills made for a less than ideal backdrop for the family reunions. It did leave the door open for reunions at a future date, adding that it is a good thing if the South had proposed the family reunions with a desire to ease the pains of a divided nation and improve relations. As you heard, the Seoul government, though, expressed its regrets and called for sincere actions from the North to back up its words. And next up is 조선일보. We'll go ahead and take a look at a couple of images next. 조선일보's front page image title reads, Deadly cold snap in North America freezes the Niagara Falls. A shot of the famed waterfalls from the Canada side of the U.S. side there that was also making its rounds on various media yesterday, including social media. This comes as the region has been frozen and the thermostat going as far down as 40 degrees below, according to the caption, since the beginning of this year. And the front page image over at 동아일보 shows this, and its title reads, Kim Jong-un gestures no to family reunions, but smiles at Rodman. The caption explains that this picture ran in North Korea's Nodongshinmun during the basketball friendly yesterday, the same day that Pyongyang informed Seoul no to family reunions. And finally, we'll wrap with a look at our business daily for today and take a look at the story here. The headline reads, Korean Las Vegas to be built on Yeongjong-do Island. Now, Yeongjong-do is an island off the west coast of Incheon City and the would-be site of a major resort complex cluster that would feature a foreigners-only casino in the likes of those found in Singapore. The paper reports that the government is moving forward on the project following last October's announcement that it would shift its preliminary screening system into an open competition. It's also said to be considering revising its original plan of allowing only one resort complex on the island, as currently there are 5 interested bidders for the casino project, including those entities from the U.S., Japan, China, and also domestically here in Korea. Now, if Korea does jump into the casino complex project with 3 resorts, the report projects it could contribute some 216 billion won, or some $203 million to the economy and boost the GDP by 0.1%. But it would also face competition from projects in the region, including those in Singapore and Macau, as well as Japan, China, and the Philippines. And with that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Friday. Next up are your closing numbers from Thursday's market action.
Morning lows have hit as low as -8 here in Seoul, but coupled with the wind, it's going to feel a lot colder than that.
That's right. We're going to take a look at today's weather conditions as well as what we can expect in the weekend with Lee-Dami, who is freezing outside.
How are you, Dami?
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm reporting live from Chunggu, Seoul. Now, here is a hot weather update. I'm pretty sure it's not apparent through the screen right now, but there is a minuscule amount of snow falling from the sky right now. In my personal opinion, I think that it's going to pass by, but who knows, it may get thicker, so make sure to update yourself with the weather forecast. Now, as for the temperatures, it is ever so slightly higher than yesterday. Right now, it is -8 degrees Celsius. Now, over the weekend, conditions will start to grow mild, but starting next week, it looks like the cold snap will return. Now, with the frigid weather outside these days, many of us are sticking to indoor activities, but the usage of electricity is quite high, so please be cautious of this factor. With that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the temperatures around the peninsula. Here in Seoul, highs will only reach to -1, Daejeon at 0, Daegu and Gwangju at 3, Busan at 4, and Jeju Island the warmest at 5 degrees. Tomorrow morning, we may receive sporadic signs of snow in some parts of the central region. That's all I have for the weather. I'll be back later in the show.
2014 is going to be an exciting year for sports fans across the world. It has some major events in the sports calendar. I'm not necessarily a sports fan, but I'm excited. It's really that jam-packed.
That just says it all.
Yeah,
Minjung
definitely.
is excited.
Yep, international sporting events. And Arirang News, Song Ji-sun joins us with more on this. But less than a month to go until the Sochi Winter Games. How does the Korean team look?
Good morning.
Good morning,
guys. We're less than 1 month away from the Winter Olympics Games in Sochi, in the resort city of the Black Sea in the southwest of Russia. Now, after finishing off the Winter Games in Vancouver 4 years ago on a high note of the 5th place overall, we're seeing a number of returning champions from Team Korea. Of course, the superstar figure skater Kim Yeona has the best shot at winning a second gold at the Olympics in Sochi, finished the national championships this past Sunday at just less than 1 point short of a Vancouver record of 228 points. And of course, our speed skating trio is back, and they're faster and stronger than before. Lee Sang-hwa has been unstoppable, setting a new world record in November. Now, Mo Tae-bum, also known as Motorbum, is the current world champion in the 500 meter. And Lee Seung-hoon, the former short track speed skater, is after gold in both the 5 and 10,000 meter races. Now, after the opening weekend, the speed skating trio and the short track skaters will kick off their races. Now, although the Korean athletes have never won a medal on the snow, we have the Rookie of the Year of the 2013, the mogul skier Choi Jae-woo, who finished in the top 10 in the World Cup Series last season. And just a few days before the closing ceremony, Kim Yeon-na will be looking at the end of her unparalleled skating career, hoping to once again top her own world record, dancing to her last free skating program, the tango by Astor Piazzolla, Adios, No Nino.
And many people, I'm sure, will be glued to the TV for her jumps and her twirls now. Right, and the World Cup is coming up also. We're going to be doing a lot of what?
Cheering.
That's right.
We're obviously not really in sync right now, but yeah, it's going to be huge.
Right, and it's going to be hosted at Brazil. The 5-time World Cup champion is hosting the 2014 World Cup for the second time since 1950, and we saw the final group draw just last month. Let's check out the groups now. Now, one of the toughest groups in the group is, of course, let's take a look at Group 1, A, B, C, D will come up right now. We're having some difficulties right now. Please
they
hold
are
up.
going out as we
Well,
speak.
yeah. Okay, we're seeing the Group D, which is Uruguay, Costa Rica, and England and Italy. And these two must fight to finish up first or second in the group. Now, also take a closer look at Group G because Korea will be going up against one of these fours here: Germany, Portugal, and Ghana and the US if we do advance to the second round. Now, Korea sits in Group H where no team stands out from the pack, but Team Korea entered the tournament ranked 54th in the FIFA rankings, which is the lowest in the group. Belgium is 11th, while Russia and Algeria are ranked 22nd and 26th, respectively. Coach Hong Myung-bo is setting up a base camp at Foz Iguazu on the border by Argentina, where the world-famous Iguazu Falls are. Now, the first match against Russia will be the key in regards to both points and the confidence level of Korean footballers for the remaining games. After Korea's second match versus Algeria in the Porto Alegre, all four teams will be facing their last shot to get into the second stage. The round of 16 will be on June 30th or July 1st, depending on the result. And we'll be bringing the latest result over the summer, so we should be looking forward to that as well.
All right, so Brazil has like a slew of international events coming in the next few years. 2014 World Cup, 2016 Summer Olympics there as well. But let's turn our focus to Korea. Korea is hosting games of its own this year. So Sochi to Brazil and back to Korea, right?
Right, in the fall. Now, Korea's port city of Incheon, which is just 40 kilometers west of the capital, will be hosting the 2014 Asian Games. Now we're expecting some 13,000 athletes and officials from 45 different countries, and note that North Korea may be one of those nations. Among the 25 Olympic sports and 8 others are on the lineup, including baseball, bowling, squash, and sepak takraw. And Korea's rhythmic gymnast Son Yeon-jae will be looking into medal as the only Asian to finish all around 5th in the top 10 5th in the London Games in 2012, and artistic gymnast Yang Hak-sun, who has his own technique named after him, has a sure shot at gold at the Asian Games as reigning world champion in vault. Olympian Park Tae-hwan will be competing in the swimming venue named after him in Incheon. In fact, they just started selling tickets this Tuesday, so hurry up to book your tickets now to catch these stars at Asia's biggest sporting event.
All right, will do. I mean, as an athlete, of course, you are going to aim to be the best, but realistically speaking, what are the goals of Team Korea for each game?
Right, for Sochi Winter Games, we're shooting for an all-around 7 with at least 4 gold medals. Now, that's a little short or lower of the Vancouver result because there are more medals on the snow, and Korea is weak in that field. We're stronger on the ice. And for the World Cup, we're shooting for the round of 16, but some say the round of 8 might also be in the picture depending on the opponent for the round. And for the Asian Games, we're shooting for an all-around 2nd for the 5th straight time after China.
Yeah, it would be very exciting to see Korea jump into the quarterfinals this year in Brazil. And judging from the looks of the lineup there, it is a strong possibility.
Exactly, and for the World Cup, we're Park Ji-sung may be joining the team after Coach Hong
That's-
contest
who
in the
knows,
country.
right?
You know,
right?
I'm hoping that he would.
Rumors and speculations at this point.
Right, wait and see.
Yeah, I hope Captain Park leads us to the best result in the overseas too.
But
Right.
one thing is for sure, we're going to lose our voices. So
yes.
cheering and rooting for Korea. Thank you, Ji-sun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ji-sun, for that.
All right, still ahead on Korea today. The philanthropic activities of stars are heating up at this time and has been for some time. Top celebrities these days are not only reaching out to the public and giving back by taking part in a variety of unique charity movements, they donate their time and talent to running charity marathons and much more. We'll take a look at these heartwarming trends of giving back.
So we looked at some events that will make people be glued to the TV, but some Koreans are already glued to the TV these days because of Chun Ji-hyun, or goddess Chun Ji-hyun, I should say, and Yoona and IU just starring in these popular TV dramas. And many fashionistas are not just looking at their faces, but what they're wearing in these TV dramas.
Or for example, the set of sunglasses that Chun Ji-hyun has been wearing in her drama has apparently been selling out of stores. So whatever they wear, it seems to hit the streets. We'll get a look at some of the fashion trends from these dramas.
The winter cold continues on, but top stars are keeping us warm with some of the most entertaining dramas. And it's not just their acting that people are looking at, it's also the fashion in dramas that are turning heads. We jump right in to see what trends are in style. She has returned to the drama set for the first time in 14 years. Chun Ji-hyun, who plays the role of Chun Song-hee in You Came From the Stars, is receiving a heavy dose of attention, and people are also taking note of her fashion. Suited for a role Chun Song-hee, who is a top celebrity in the drama, Chun Ji-hyun does many looks that set her apart.
Sorry.
Her style from head to toe has captivated people, causing a stream of products to sell out not long after the drama started airing.
One of the noticeable trends of the Chun Song-hee look is that she dresses primarily in luxury brands and introduces style that show off the unique charm Chun Ji-hyun has.
The hottest look on the show is the many different coats. From the first episode, Chun Ji-hyun appeared in an oversized coat with tartan checks, one of the hottest trends this season. She embraces a graceful look while holding onto a top star quality. With this, she sported a white blouse and black skirt with an eye-catching big belt, creating a glamorous but clean style. Not only that, she also created the Chun Song-hee look, which is a matchup of an oversized red or white coat with red lipstick, a look much loved these days. The romantic comedy The Prime Minister and I, which is based on a pre-arranged marriage, is drawing a lot of interest with its main lead, Yoona from Girls' Generation. Yoona takes on the role of entertainment news journalist Nam Da-jung, showing off her new colors.
Yoona's style differs in the first half and the latter half of the drama.
Yoona started off with a plain tomboy style in the beginning, wearing jeans with simple shirts or t-shirts. She also created a layered look with a star-patterned navy-colored blouse and an added sweater with a casual coat. It's a clean but interesting look, reminiscent of a school uniform. But as she transitions into the role of the Prime Minister's wife, Yoona takes on a completely different style. Try matching up A-line garments with dresses of bright colors, or tying lace or big-sized bows to give a feminine touch. With this, you can easily try out Yoona's classy look. Anyone who has watched Pretty Boy will have noticed another actress who has created a sensation for her looks on screen. It's IU, who has claimed the nickname IU Gaga for her unique taste.
IU's fashion is all about showing off fun and witty elements.
She completes her character, who is sometimes cute but also bizarre, with her unique fashion. She adds a sweatshirt to her floral dress or wears a corsage necklace with the tracksuit. IU's interesting taste of attire in the drama is generating more interest than the show. There is also a sense of humor in her fashion. From lettuce to tomatoes and a beef patty, she matches up a hamburger t-shirt with a pair of multicolored leggings. Her outfits are full of wit and style. This is a place where you can find some of the most popular looks IU donned in the drama Pretty Boy.
The character 보통이 in the drama Pretty Boy prefers products that are unique and have varied colors. That's why I think the look goes well with our product.
A bright-colored and boxy loose-fit sweater matched up with a crisp fabric skirt. This look was created right here. Not only that, you can also find IU's red tights, headband and oversized sweater with cute floral patterns. These can be attractive but yet challenging to wear in daily life. So what can you do to strike the perfect balance?
The clothes that 보통이 wears in the drama can look difficult to try out, but as long as you choose one element to focus on, you can match it up easily.
It's not only their captivating storylines but also the visual pleasure dramas provide. How about taking on the challenge and sporting a look from your favorite drama this season?
And as we just saw, celebrities have the power to actually influence what people wear. But they also have the power to influence average citizens to partake in philanthropic activities. Denny Hong joins us with more on this. Good morning.
Good morning. And as you were just mentioning, yes, when it comes to giving back, celebrities are on the forefront of this movement, it seems like, here in Korea. Not only when it comes to celebrity couples, some of the couples that have been around, but I think the one that was voted the most, I guess, representative of celebrity couples that are giving back is Sean and Jung Hae-young. As well as, of course, you know, there are other couples out there. There's other individual groups and fans that are giving back. And as more people are becoming part of this movement, you're finding new and unique ways where fans are giving back to society, either economically, right, or in some kind of a green way. So let's take a look at all these unique ways that people are giving back, not only celebrities, but also their fans. Heartwarming news is sending a wave of inspiration across the entertainment industry. It comes from celebrities that not only have striking looks and great talent, but also warm, giving hearts. We take a look at their generous methods of sharing. One of Korea's top stars, actress Go So-young, who is currently carrying her second child, recently took part in a documentary to advocate for young single moms. She said she wanted to become a mentor and supporter of those who she met through the documentary and donated roughly $100,000 for this cause. Not only that, actress Ha Ji-won, who has shined with her recent performance in the drama Empress Ki, also jumped on board. She not only donated all of her royalties from her book, Now at This Moment, which she wrote, she also gave away 1,000 books to underprivileged teenagers. One of the latest inspiring trends of giving back to society is by volunteering with their voices. Actor Lee Jong-suk, who has become one of the country's latest heartthrobs, has joined in on this movement by reading artwork audio guides for the visually impaired.
저녁 종소리가 들리고 지평선 아래로 들녘이 펼쳐집니다. 이렇게나마 좋은 일을 할 수 있어서 정말 기쁘게 생각하고 있습니다. 많이 사랑해 주시고 감사합니다.
Koo Hae-sun, active not only as an actress but film director and fiction writer, has also recorded audio guides at exhibitions, donating her talent. Part of the profits made from this will go towards supporting leukemia patients. Actors Jung Kyung-ho and Yoon Si-yoon also took part in this movement for documentaries with their voice donations. Actress Han Ji-min also took part in narrating for the movie Ending Note for those with visual impairments.
그래서 저는 바로 종합병원에서 항암제 치료가 문제네. 아내인 준코입니다. 제 암이 발견된 후부터 뭔가에 화가 난 사람 같습니다. 작게나마 제가 조금이라도 도움이 됐으면 좋겠다 해서 이렇게 열심히 참여하게 됐습니다.
Actress Song Ji-hyo, popular on Running Man, is one of the people leading this trend, a perfect match for her role on the entertainment show. Roughly 10 cents goes to the cause for every 100 meters ran by participants. Song Ji-hyo led the movement for this running drive, aiming to help low-income family children. They are immensely popular right now for starring on the show We Got Married. Singer Jung Jun-young and actress Jung Yoo-mi also took part in a charity marathon.
In the past, you saw a lot of monetary donations or those made as one-time events. But recently, these different types of donations are setting good precedents. We even see the trend of celebrities pledging to become organ donors.
At the production press conference of the popular drama You Came From the Stars, there was a special donation in sight. It was none other than a wreath with supply of diapers, prepared by lead actor Kim Soo-hyun's fans. Instead of just expensive flower gifts that go to waste, many fans have instead chosen to put together additional products such as diapers or rice to congratulate their stars and also make a special donation.
The wreaths with rice, ramen, and briquette donations are being used to help those in need.
These special gifts do not stop at wreaths. Fans of the longest-standing idol group Shinhwa made a huge donation to celebrate the 15th year since the group debuted. This was by creating none other than a forest with the boy band's name.
The forest was planted after receiving donations from 900 fans in the fall of 2012, and apricot trees, royal azaleas, and spindle trees are planted here.
These kind of charity events from fans are not just for within the country. The fans of girl group 2NE1 donated 1,300 mango trees to a small village in Tons, South Sudan. This mango tree forest has not only helped people get more food, it has also created cool shade to rest in. The culture of sharing and giving extends beyond top celebrities and has spread to their fans as well. And many hope this movement will continue to spread across many other fields of society.
It's definitely good to see that these fans are moving beyond just screaming out the celebrities' names, but just jumping on the bandwagon of helping and giving and looking at others. You know, it's a good example of fandom, I think.
Well, definitely. And when it comes to the gifts that like fans give to their celebrities, now obviously there's still going to be these small knickknacks and presents, but what can they really do with all that, right? So the trend for them to give rice donations, which I've seen that a lot more recently, especially in the interviews that I've been doing with a lot of our groups. They've been talking about their favorite fan gifts have been, sacks of rice, so they can donate this to other organizations as well. But I think the forests have got to be like the peak.
Right. That's
for
quite
me.
unique.
I think the first time I was aware of this was probably back in 2012 when fans for Seotaeji, they actually, for his 20th anniversary, they set aside part of a rainforest area in Brazil.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
And I was thinking, that's amazing that you would have people pool together all their resources for this kind of a project. And of course, last year, as we saw, we have, of course, other groups, 2NE1 in South Sudan, the mango trees there. And of course, we also have Dongbang Girls' Generation, Infinite. There's so many groups that have been doing these forest projects, not only in Korea, but also in overseas areas. And I think I'm interested to see what's next.
An island.
An island. A nature preserve. That's your next project. People out there, get an island and preserve for endangered species.
What I'm interested was, am I missing out or does Kim Soo-hyun have a child? I was a little confused with the diapers, I think.
Yeah, the diapers. What's with the diapers?
Well, diapers, I think, especially when you have young couples that are having children, it's one of those expenses that can add up because it's something that they constantly need. So I think having those diapers to give to people that will need it, and it's kind of an ease off of financial burdens. Same thing with charcoal briquettes. When it comes to, especially now, the cold season, lower income families are going to need some kind of way for heating abilities, and those are easily distributed.
Sure.
And so I think those are definitely more of these staples that have been around for a little bit. But again, island.
Right, the island.
That's the next thing.
I don't know what you're going to do with an island, but yeah, those practical
species.
gifts are really good, I think. Diapers, anyone can use it one way or another.
Always
Exactly.
in need.
Yes.
right, well, thank you very much, Denny, for that.
No problem.
Okay, now a band by the name of MC The Max is back after a long hiatus, and we'll see how they fared on this week's K-pop charts. The top 5 up next.
Oh, they topped the chart.
Yeah, number 1. Can you believe that?
All right, let's go back to our Dami, who joins us from a cold wave relief center at the Seoul City Hall.
Okay, I want to find out what this is. So, Tommy, what do you have for us? And tell us all about this area.
Thanks, guys. I'm back reporting live from Seoul City Hall, where you can find the Cold Wave Relief Center. Now, this past Wednesday, the first cold wave advisory has been issued this winter here in Seoul. So in order to prevent any damages, well, there are very quick actions that are being taken. So the Seoul Metropolitan Government has put together a cold weather task force on 24-hour emergency duty to ensure the safety of the people. So 24 hours a day, what the workers do is that they monitor screens which show various places around Seoul, and also they keep themselves updated with the weather center and the forecast. So with the cold weather, facilities can become more susceptible to freezing over, or the sick and the elderly can be more at risk. They say that throughout the day there are about 133 reports that are reported here at the Cold Wave Relief Center. So whenever these reports are received, then the emergency task force is sent out, and they try to arrive at the spot within 2 hours to either change out parts or fix the damaged facilities. Now, for the homeless on the streets or any senior citizens that live alone, there are about 6,800 helpers to lend a helping hand. Also, there are about 662 senior citizen homes, small local district offices, and other shelters that will provide a place for rest and escape the cold snap. Now, according to the Weather Center, the month of January is going to be a frigid one because the peninsula will be under the effect of a continental cold front throughout the end of this month. Now, for those of you that have seen any damages due to the cold wave, then you can always report it through Twitter, through their Twitter account, or you can also call them up at 119, and there will be emergency medical care that will assist as well. Now, this winter is going to be a very feisty one, so make sure to prepare yourselves for any future damages. That's all I have for now. This is your look at the Cold Wave Relief Center. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
And still ahead, Tubu, or Korea's bean curd, is affordable and easy to get your hands on, and not to mention full of nutrition. The soft block of protein has been a favorite for many centuries in the country for its versatile taste. Chef Matthew Chung brings us more.
Now, if you follow Formula One racing, each driver is awarded points for their finish, and at the end of the season, the one with the most points obviously win the title. Well, the LPGA will be kind of like that in the new season, as the race to the CME Globe will add more excitement to the LPGA. And in the latest point system, each golfer will be awarded 500 points for a first-place finish, 300 for second, and 190 points for a third-place finish, and so on. In the case of an LPGA major, golfers will be given 25% more, as the winner will receive 625 points. And at the end of the season, the golfer with the most points will earn $1 million in prize money. And moving on to some winter sports news, the South Korean bobsleigh team continues to surprise everyone as they won not just one, but 2 medals in the latest America Cup. During the 7th round of the America Cup in Lake Placid, U.S., Won Yoon-jong and Seo Young-woo finished first in the 2-man bobsleigh event to win the gold medal. But that's not all. The duo of Kim Dong-hyun and Chung Jung-min finishes second as the South Korean bobsleigh team take home a gold and a silver in the latest event. And staying on winter sports, we saw the success of the bobsleigh team, skeleton, and now luge, as Korea earned tickets to all 4 luge events in Sochi. With the Winter Olympics less than a month away, the International Luge Federation notified the Korean Luge Federation that they have earned their ticket to the Sochi Winter Games. Now, this includes the men's and women's single, 2-person luge, and the team relay event, as the sport draws more and more interest from the fans. And now moving on to some Thursday night's KBL action. Jeonju KCC Aegis topped Wonju-dongbu Promi with the final score of 74-64. As we shift over to the Seoul SK Knights taking on Incheon Itilan Elephants with Aaron Haynes returning to the lineup. Of course, going into the first quarter of the game here, Incheon off to a great start as they take a 27-17 lead thanks to Ricardo Pal's 11 points in the quarter, before going into halftime with a nice 45-35 lead. And second half of the game, SK trying to rally here with Aaron Haynes limited to just 18 minutes in the game. Incheon holds on to take this game 75-66, your final score. And now finishing things off with some Thursday night's V-League action as the Korean Expressway pulled off an upset win over the IBK Altos with the final set score of 3-0 in the Women's League. Meanwhile, Hyundai Capital Skywalkers took on LIG Graders over on the men's side, so let's take a look at the highlights. Now, first set, LIG off to a monster start as Hyundai Capital struggles to score here, and the first set goes to LIG 25-21. But unfortunately for LIG, no repeat performance from them as the Skywalkers improved their attack in the next 3 sets and sweeping the rest of the match 25-23, 25-15, and 30-28 as Liberman Algamez puts up 33 points with Moon Sung-min adding 14 points. Hyundai Capital rally back to take this match 3-1. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great weekend, everyone, and see you guys again for your sports needs.
It can be a mere ingredient, it could be a side dish, and it could be the main, but the fact is, it's just plain good for you. Matthew Chung joins us to talk more about tubu. You can find it in kimchi-jjigae, 된장찌개, everywhere else. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. And you're right, you find it in everything just because it's that versatile. It's great because when you don't have time to cook a full meal, say something with meat, tubu, it's really easy to prepare. And the other thing about it is that it's packed full of protein and nutrition. So let's take a look and see how Korea enjoys this incredibly versatile ingredient. So they call it the beef that comes from the ground. They mean soybeans, and it's because it's been feeding Koreans for thousands of years. And one of the many things soybeans can be turned into is tubu, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. So it begins with the beans, and then with the process, you get 2 products. So you get this side, it's kongbiji, and when it's cooked, it has a texture very similar to grits or polenta. So one of my favorite ways to have soybeans. And then you also have soy milk, and from here, the tubu making process begins. And so you can have a number of different products. You can have sundubu, which is a soft silken tubu, or you can have a firmer product, which can be pan-fried, griddled, put into a soup. It's endless because it's almost like a blank canvas. It takes on other flavors incredibly well. But if made properly, it should also have a flavor and character on its own. Today we're at Tubu Gongjakso, and this place is packed right now for lunch because places like this where they make their tubu every day fresh, they have a following. People go where the food is good. And today we're having sundubu, and it's probably one of the most popular dishes, lunchtime dishes for workers. And it's because it comes out quickly and it's rich and satisfying, but it doesn't weigh you down. One of the great things about tubu is just the wide range of textures that you get. See, take a look at this. See how jiggly soft that is. Oh man. And it almost always comes with seafood, like 해물 순두부찌개. And it's because that seafood goes really well with the spiciness, which in turn brings out the sweetness of the tubu. It all works very well together. So right now we're at Pudim, and the thing is that coming in here, it feels very Korean. The same feeling that you get from a lot of these sorts of dishes, one of them being 콩비지. Here they have a special recipe that involves beef bone broth, and they also add a ton of seafood into the stock as well. I've never had this dish like this before, and kimchi is one of my favorites, so let's give it a taste. It's really tasty. A lot of times, 비지찌개 can be a little bland. Here, they give it a nice salty kick. I really like that. And this dish, like a lot of great dishes from around the world, it came out of using essentially what's left over from another process and turned it into a dish all on its own. And that sort of resourcefulness always ends up usually with something delicious. Tubu has always been a staple when it comes to making vegan cuisine. So here at the Smaljo vegan restaurant, they focus a lot on that. And what I have in front of me right now, it's a cream pasta, but in the place of any sort of dairy, they use soy milk. Now, soy milk is a great ingredient to use. I use it often as an intermezzo, as a little palate cleanser in between courses. And here, it's a place of dairy. So what's great is that it has like a natural sort of silkiness, a smoothness to it. One of the advantages of using soy milk over dairy definitely is that you can actually taste the pasta. It has that trademark soy milk flavor to it, but it's very subtle. It's only there if you kind of are looking for it. So if you serve this to me and I wasn't paying attention, I could probably swear that there's dairy in there. And our main course for this evening, it's a tubu steak. One thing that I like about produce is that vegetables, there's such a wide range of flavors available. Meat always kind of tastes like meat, but produce can taste like anything you want. Oh, that crunch is great, and the acid from that balsamic vinegar is fantastic. They're not fooling anybody. This clearly isn't meat, but I don't miss it. Really, I don't need it in this dish. It's balanced enough in flavor, and that's really what's key, is balancing out all the flavors. It takes tubu, and it really celebrates it, is what it does.
We have many different kinds of tubu
That's
on
right.
the table.
Yeah, we have the soybean in its many different forms.
Okay, so this is the original soybean, right?
That is
where
correct.
tubu comes from, right? There it is, right here.
You can just leave it there.
Now, what is it? Tubu can only be made from soybeans. You can't really make any other type of bean-based curd because it just doesn't have the requisite protein to sort of coagulate. So there are things that are similar to tubu that we make made from things like black beans and whatnot, but it's not really the same thing. It's not the sort of curdled protein that's been then pressed.
So it's gotta be the soybeans.
Yeah, that's right. And it's because, like I said, it's the protein in there. But in its raw state, you can only get about 60% of the nutrients of the soybean if you eat it. But when you turn it into tubu, that number bumps up to 95%.
Interesting.
Okay. All right, well, let's talk us through the discovery of tubu. Did someone just decide to grind up some of these soybeans and say, hey, let's make some soft jello blocks out of it?
You know what? I mean, like most culinary innovations, this happened by a happy accident. So it was a king from China, King Yuan from the Huainan region, and he was making a youth serum. He wanted to make a potion that helped him stay young. And this youth serum contained calcium sulfate, which is a coagulating ingredient that's used in the tubu making process. So in dropped some soy milk, and then the curds appeared, and thus tubu was invented.
And then he started eating that.
I mean, it was just like any sort of like culinary pioneer. He decided just to stick it in his mouth and see where that would take him. And then and during that time there was a lot of sort of cross-cultural exchange with China. So that's how it ended up in Korea. But like a lot of other sort of culinary exports, we were able to take it and sort of improve upon it. It was said that for a long time that Korea's royal tubu makers were the envy of China.
And when we talk about Korean-style tubu, we cannot leave out choddangdubu from Gangneung in the Gangwon province, right?
That's right. It's a completely unique phenomenon. It's the world's first seawater-based tubu. So it's a small village located by the East Sea, and it has these pine forests in there, and the water has these naturally occurring minerals that will create the tubu from the natural seawater.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it has a very unique flavor. It's very nutty, they say.
You have some soy sauce, then we can eat this practically
right
right here.
Breakfast,
That's
right
the
there.
beauty of tubu, I think.
Exactly.
And this is like the perfect diet food. It's low in calorie, as we mentioned earlier, and it's also very, very high in protein. So
high in protein, and it's got a very high satiety factor. It makes you feel satisfied and full after you eat it. Unlike, say like eating just greens or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it sounds great. So many different ways to enjoy tubu. Thank you for that, Matthew.
Always a pleasure.
Well, it's a record cold day here in Korea, at least for the year. Let's go back to our Dami and see how cold it actually is outdoors.
Okay, Dami, over to you.
So I'm back reporting live in front of Seoul City Hall located in Chunggu, Seoul, and this morning it is cold. Currently temperatures are at negative 7.7 degrees Celsius. We are under the influence of a cold wave watch here in Seoul, but adding on to that, we are also under dry air advisories. So for those of you that are going up in the mountains or just anyone that's handling fires, please be cautious and also make sure to keep yourselves moisturized. Now, as for the weather, it is cold. Make sure to bundle yourselves up from head to toe. And on your morning commutes, there are a lot of people that are bundled up, and it is very cold this morning. Over the weekend, we will be seeing mild conditions, so maybe planning some outdoor activities might not be such a bad idea, but do just keep that in mind. And next week, and the start of next week, it looks like the cold snap will return. So as for the weather, also conditions have cleared out at the moment, so nothing to worry about on your morning commute. That's all I have for the weather. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
Just all bundled up.
Or do I not want to leave this building?
You want to stay indoors today, I think.
You don't. And Tommy always gives us the tips on staying moisturized. And, dry skin does come with the winter weather.
And do bundle up like she did with the scarf and the earmuffs. Sounds like a good idea.
That's right.
All right. Thanks for watching.
All right, we'll see you back here on Monday morning at 7 a.m. Have a great weekend.